Welcome today. My name's Dr. Matt Hook, and I am the shepherd.
And I'm Dr. Marty Fletcher, and I am the shrink.
Let me ask you a question, though. Why would we need anger to do that? Why wouldn't it be a curiosity? Curiosity is a move forward, try to explain. There's a dignity to curiosity.
Yeah, a leaning in.
Right. So what did you mean by that? There's a dignity that I give you. Anger takes some of the dignity away. And I'm thinking of Proverbs 14:29. Those who control their anger have great understanding. That I'd like to have great understanding. That'd be good, right? Those who control their anger have great understanding. Those with a hasty temper will make mistakes. The only thing that I can think of that I do better with anger than without is fight. That's it.
Yeah.
A physical fight, because a verbal argument in the sense of a dignified argument, which is a discussion where you're going to argue a point. We're not attached to it. It's not personal. And we're going to have a resolution and learn something. That doesn't anger interferes with that. Anger, look, the limbic system is where our emotions are, right? That is God made to override the frontal lobe. Because if there is a, rhinoceros or something coming at me, I need to feel fear or anger or something right now. And I don't need to go, well, let's see, can I win? As soon as I stop to ponder and survey the issue, I'm going to get clobbered. Anger is no time to think, right? So what does it help us do? I think combat is pretty much it, or tasks, motivation for a task.
Sure. You could get angry with the situation and work. If you use that instead of to complain or grouse about it, if you use the fuel from being mad about a situation to do something about it.
Yes. And not only that, but I can also be on your side if I'm mad at the situation. So if I'm like, I can, let's say you're about to make a giant mistake. Okay. If I'm not angry with you, I can still say, oh, he's going to do that again. Okay, I got to help him. I'm still on your side. Anger intends to harm or humiliate or cause someone to feel a bad emotion. That's what I don't like about it, because I do need that if I have to physically defend myself. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, anger is an emotion and it's a sin. And there's this spectrum where the emotion turns into a sin.
Uh-huh.
And so I think so many people are afraid of anger, not realizing that level of frustration or means you have to have the courage to set up a boundary and say, no, you keep that out of my life, or I need to distance myself from you right now.
Yes.
Or I need you to realize when you do this, it causes me frustration or extra work. If it's someone around the house that leaves dirty dishes around, or there can be some appropriate anger to make you say, hey, let's work together to keep the house better, especially these days.
Okay. So man, I'm not thinking in terms of right or wrong. Anger's right, anger's wrong. I'm saying God is showing us the best way, and he knows we can't reach it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not thinking in terms of right or wrong. Is it better to, I don't know. I mean, I usually bring in the sex or the drugs or whatever. Is it, but is it better to only have sex with one person ever in your life? Probably. I can think in most scenarios, like probably to bond with one person and just share something that special with one person, right? And then you don't have any of the risks of the diseases, unwanted pregnancies, broken hearts, things like that. It takes the risk out. It's the best way. But does that mean that you're damned to hell if you have a past? Like 95% is the number I see right now that have a sexual past before marriage. That's the number at University of Minnesota gave in the last research. And based on what I know from me and my friends, that number is pretty good. I know, you know what I mean? So I'm looking at the best way, but I'm not condemning anyone for anger. I'm more looking at it like, would it be better for I see the house like it is and I feel disappointment, which is more gentle, or that I blow my fuse and go, Brady, get out of here. You know what I mean? It's better if I stay calm and try to understand is all I'm saying, right? But it's certainly, one other thing, let me say one thing that you said was this. You said Oh, doggone it. I should be taking notes on this. I think I just missed it. Here's that other senior moment. I'll come back. Doggone
Sure.
it. It was a good
Well, I
point.
think the idea is to keep anger in the emotion category and keep it from spilling over into the sin category. And the way to do that is to speak. You know, it says, words spoken softly turn away wrath.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we need enough fuel to be able to confront, especially those who aren't confronters. A lot of people are retreaters no matter what. And a lot of people are afraid of their anger. And I think we need to be afraid of this sin of anger, but we don't need to be afraid of the emotion of anger. We need to understand it more. And that's what I hope people are hearing in how we are sharing today.
Yeah. But I'll say this, though. We don't have a problem with not enough anger. We have a problem with too much anger. There's no doubt about that. And I'll tell you what I hear most Christians say about that, rather than the probably hundreds and hundreds of times where we're warned to be careful with anger, they always say, well, Jesus got angry. That's always the thing. Now you don't have to work on it, right? Because, it's just natural. I have to be angry. No, you don't. Anger spreads like a virus. If you're in a room and you see somebody getting really hostile, your first emotions are going to be threat emotions, because that is a threatening environment, right?
Yeah.
Or threatening situation. You're either going to feel fear, like, let's get out of here, or you're going to be like, that guy's talking to his kids like that, and you're going to get angry, right?
Right. You know, the other way anger can express itself is the quiet with a smile on, manipulative, underhanded kind of a way of that shows up maybe more as judgmentalism. You know, there's people who come across so sweet, but they're incredibly fueled. I would say anger. And I appreciate that they're not in your face, but there's an awful lot of manipulation that can take place.
Yes, they're quietly judging that person. And they're also self-righteously arrogant in that, as if there's nothing to teach. There is a line in Proverbs that says, do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Do not associate with one easily angered. Now, I'm not looking at other people. I'm looking at me. Because the thing I really struggled with the most, because of my history and all that kind of stuff, was, resentments and be a fighter. Don't take any, from anybody kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then as I softened up a lot, most of it's gone, but those pathways are there. Now, I don't judge another person, but I get angry at stuff still. Like, I've forgiven everybody. Thank God I've forgiven everybody. And sometimes it took some years to do that. It's not like an on and off switch. You got to learn how to do this. The world teaches us to get revenge. We see it through movies. It's in our nature to do that, just to spread that spirit of anger.
I was kind of freed from that growing up in a Christian home and experiencing that unconditional love, that I realized when I would get angry and resentment with people, I didn't have the energy within myself to hang on to it for that long. Now, there's certain cases as I've matured where I look back and I realize, not from my childhood, but from more recently, gosh, I really am still resenting that person for saying that. But I'm able to pinpoint it partly because the Spirit of God makes it a lot harder for me to hold on to anger and resentment and than it does for the Spirit of God.
Yes.
Help me and enable me to offer forgiveness to the person and to be able to move on.
Like, are you getting better at it? Like, was there a point when you had to get better at it where you said, I don't want to be like this? Because there is like people love that feeling of adrenaline that you get, like because it feels like you're actually doing something, like, oh, I can't stand that guy, or good, they got fired, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the feeling that we like. It's intoxicating, but it's not the feeling. It's so far from peace, which is the best feeling. That's when our body's working the best, our immune system kicks in, because we know that anger kills. Those stress hormones, I think it feels good because if you truly believe that that's a threat, you have the illusion that you're doing something about it by just doing it in anger. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much. And I think that's what a lot of us have found ourselves in the last few weeks in this new normal. And and realizing there are underlying things that maybe have been uncovered that aren't very helpful or that need to be fixed. And maybe the opportunity to confront those things that have just laid under the radar for so long are in our laps now. And like we said, using I statements, seeking to understand, even in the midst of experiencing a tinge of anger or frustration as an emotion, is something that I think we can take from here.
I think you're right. And look, I don't want to mislead anyone or be misunderstood. Anger in and of itself isn't hatred, but it's half of it.
It's the doorway.
Because when it mixes with disgust and is directed at another person, then you violated the notion that that person is an image bearer. Okay? So you look at a person with contempt, and that means that not only are you angry about what they did, you're judging them. You're condemning them. Okay? That's the disgust part of it. Now, and not only that, but it is just ruefully just arrogant, because that thing that you're condemning them for, guess what? You've either done it, are still doing it, or wanted to do it, or it's in you just like it's in them.
That's good.
Disagree? Did you disagree?
No, I think holding up the mirror and realizing there, but for the grace of God go I.
Yes.
Is the way to approach an awful lot of what's going on right now.
Yeah. Or maybe I should repent for that very thing that I see, because we do project. We do project as human beings, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I've seen the most judgmental, self-righteous people decry in the moment the self-righteousness, judgmentalism of the other party.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or how arrogant Pelosi or Trump is, while they are arrogantly judging another person when they have no facts at all, just gossip.
Right.
So you brought up gossip earlier, and I was thinking, okay, what's a good definition of gossip? And here's what I think it is. Gossip about a human being is considering the person, reflecting on the person, and promoting the worst elements of them, or what you think are the worst elements of them. It's reputation bashing to try to align other people against.
Yeah, I agree. I would add to that. There's a lot of stuff that I know that is not my news to share.
Yeah, but if it's good news, share it. Like, oh my gosh, Matt Hook was so nice. He bought me coffee or something. You can promote that. Why not? Why wouldn't you? Yeah. It's got to be. But it's the negative stuff that you decide to share. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. And it's meant to harm.
Right. Yeah, there's an intent with gossip that's meant to belittle or to harm or to show my superiority in some way. That's a whole nother topic, isn't it?
So yeah, it is. But like in Ephesians, when it says, like, I like to try to take this stuff literally when it's a directive, like I understand that there's, symbology and all that. That's important too. But the literal statements, like the injunctions, I try to take them seriously. Get rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Well, Jesus got angry. I can't answer it with that. That's not what that's not the point of it. Bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, and slander. What, just kind of little intellectual challenge. What can we do with anger that we couldn't do better without? I'm asking you because I've thought this through, because I'm thinking, like, people really try to justify anger. Like, well, everybody gets angry. Something like that. Okay, that may be true, but it doesn't mean that it's the best way. And I'm looking for the best way. So what is it about anger? And I understand it, and I've had it, and I still get it, but I'm not going to endorse it for most things. What's the appropriate use of anger? Where is the best way? Okay.
For me, it would be coming alongside a person who's experiencing anger that I listen to and is what I would say appropriate. And there's a confronting of a situation that needs to happen. And so I would want for their anger to be kept in the emotions kept in an opportunity for them to confront whatever thing is going wrong in a relationship, or where somebody is stepped outside of their boundaries, outside of God's best for their lives. And it should be just enough fuel to give them courage to have a conversation with somebody, not to go blow, to yell, bite their head off. But I would want to come along with someone, and all the while saying, Lord, keep me in your care, keep me within the bounds of how you want me to live, in such a way that I can confront the situation where something has happened, someone is acting inappropriately, and I can have the courage and the strength to set a new boundary in this area. That's what I would do. And I would encourage the person one-on-one, or if they need to, have some kind of a mediator there who can act in a true mediator role. Sometimes it would mean having a spokesperson liaison to come alongside them to give them the courage for this. And as long as everybody's safety is intact, I would say it's going to require a tough conversation that can be handled in love and in appropriate ways. And yet the anger doesn't go away. So we need to know how to deal with it, how to ask for forgiveness, how to realize that the speck I see in your eye that's caused me to trigger isn't a log or a piece of sliver that fell off the log that's in my own eye. It's which is really about judgmentalism, but it's about anger as well. And there is way too much anger. But I think that the thing that I want to challenge and push back on is the anger is there, and there's way too much of it. But then how do we can't call it something else when it's anger. Anger is anger. So what we need to do is help people spiritually and psychologically understand, recognize it, find appropriate ways to deal with it that involves forgiveness, that could involve counseling, that could involve an understanding of how their mind works, what anger is designed to trigger, what the danger of those triggers, and the fact that when we are angry, we are, for some people, we need to make that an empowerment to deal with the problem, because problems have solutions. Problems have solutions.
Yes.
Rather than fixing the blame, let's fix the problem. But our problem is the sin of anger that we see so much of today does nothing much more than fix the blame on whoever we perceive needs the blame, rather than allowing our anger not just to get it off our chest and yell at somebody, or practice self-harming stuff against ourselves because we don't feel lovable, or we're so mad at ourselves, or we did it again and we stepped in it again, and so we feel this anger toward ourselves, when what we could enable the anger to do is help us confront in a loving way in order to fix not the blame, but fix the problem. And maybe that's a takeaway for us, is how do we take what the fuel or the lack of fuel, it feels like, from these days of quarantine, social distancing, and the anger that we feel from that, could that help us confront so that we're not fixing the blame, but fixing the problem for people with whom we could make a difference. I just had a woman call me today and say, I want to help some people in need. Who do you know in our community who's in the greatest time of need because of this job, whether they're quote unquote an unessential worker, or they're laid off, or they have no income right now. And somebody just called me. So whether that was fueled by frustration that she saw or a good idea that she saw, what a blessing. And so rather than fixing blame on people because they don't have enough work, or they didn't save enough, or they didn't prepare for a time like this, rather than fixing the blame with that frustration and that anger, what if we use that to pick up the phone and help find a source in a loving way to help fix a problem?
Sure.
That's good therapy.
Sure. No, I agree with that for sure. I've been thinking about this recently because, becoming Christ-like, that's the goal, right? So what I saw Christ do, even when people are doing horrible things, not just disagreeing with me, right? Like things like, torturing him,
Right.
scourging him. He attributed that to their ignorance. They don't understand the way. So he was mad at them.
Mm-hmm.
He said, forgive them. They don't know. That would help if someone offends me. It would help for me to have that attitude over anger. Okay, like they just don't understand. They're new, if it's a political thing, I'm not really political, but if it were, I could go like, okay, they're not a bad person. I don't have to get angry at them because they just have a different news source. First of all, I'll humble myself because maybe they'll teach me something. That's possible, right? I could actually learn something from somebody else, might know something I don't know. So that's a first thing, but anger would interfere with that for sure. Mm-hmm. Anger has a self-righteous element to it. And then the second thing was, if I'm sure they're wrong, I still don't have to get angry with them no matter what they're doing. Let's say they stole from me. The more understanding I get about that, probably the less angry I would be.